Hello, hello, hi, folks. Welcome. Happy Saturday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. Welcome. Good to see you. You can see I'm back home. I got my robe on. And what a weekend. What a weekend. Can I say it one more time? What a weekend. What a weekend. I mean, talk about having your mind blown, right? But tonight I want to talk about something that kind of dawned on me today. So, in life, you're going to be dealt cards, right? Those are the cards you got. What are you going to do, right? You can play those cards or you can fold them. So I'm asking you, when would you decide that the cards you got are crappy, and when do you or how and when do you decide to fold up? Question for you. That's a good question. Think about that question a little bit. Today we had a guest speaker, and if you don't know this gentleman, I would highly recommend you follow him, you get to know him, and you see how amazing this person is. This is J.R. Martinez, and he was our guest speaker today at the convention, and he was talking about his life story, right? What is so special about J.R. Martinez? Well, J.R. Martinez, at age 19, he decides to join the Army. And, despite his mom that said, it's probably not a good idea, he decided to go ahead and go. She gave him the blessing, of course, at the end, but he decides to go join the Army. He goes in at 19, and 3 weeks after, he's driving a little Jeep with 3 other people in it, and the right passenger tire goes over a bomb. The 3 other people in the car get thrown out. He gets stuck in the car for 5 minutes. He's stuck in a car that is just gone over a bomb in Iraq, and now is caught on fire, and he's stuck inside for 5 minutes. Now, I want you to put yourself in that situation if you're able to. 5 minutes in a car locked up that is burning, and you're awake, and you feel it. You think life is a little tough at that point? 19 years old, 3 weeks into the Army, thinking he's going to serve 3 years and he's going to be done. He's going to go on with his life. That's not how it worked. 3 weeks into his new career, if you would, this happens. Now, he's severely burnt. Doesn't even have a right ear or left ear, and but still he can hear from it. He can hear from both ears. Just severely burnt. He was in the hospital for 3 years recovering. I want you to really put yourself there. Imagine having to recover 3 years in the hospital. Imagine being 19 years old and having your whole dreams and whatever you had planned for your future just go literally down the toilet. Imagine being that person. Imagine being 19, 3 weeks into the Army, stuck in a car that just went over a bomb, on fire for 5 minutes, then he goes into a induced coma for, I don't know how long, I don't remember that part. And then he has to recover for 3 years. What do you do at that point? What do you do with those cards that you got dealt? When do you fold? When do you play? Well, let me tell you about something. J.R. Martinez had a little conversation with his mom. And his mom set him straight with just a couple of words. And he realized that, you know what he has is what he has. And he has to do the best he can with the cards that he's dealt. Now, let's fast forward. Let's fast forward to a few of his accomplishments. He has been on the All My Children, the soap opera. He is the winner of Dancing with the Stars. He is an incredible motivational speaker, wife, kid, right? Incredible sense of humor, just an amazing human being altogether. But if you looked at him, he's got so many external scars all over his face, all over his body. Hey, News John, how are you? Welcome, welcome. So this guy has got so many external scars all over his face. That's all I could see because he had a suit, and so he couldn't see anything else. But I'm pretty sure he's all burnt up. Now, why do I share this story with you? And why? I mean, this story, most of the crowd was in tears. I mean, we were just laughing and tearing up because this guy was just unbelievable speaker. But he's walking around, he's talking about, you know, what he's had to deal with. And at 19, when this happens to him, you know, 3 years down the road, he's out of the hospital, and he doesn't know what he's gonna do. What is he gonna do with his life? Now that everything that he had planned is just out the window, he's severely burned. He's got obviously very, very, very apparent external scars, right? So what does he do now? He collects himself and he decides that he's going to share his story. He decides that he's going to become a motivational speaker. He decides that he's going to change other people's lives through his story. That's what he decides to do, right? So how many of us are dealt really crappy cards in our lives? And how many of us just kind of fold right off the bat? Just kind of done with his hand, I'm folding. Very few of us play to the end, play to win. Very few of us. Now, why do I share this story with you? I mean, this is a motivational story. It's a great story. Yeah, I got all that. That's amazing. But that's not the reason why. The reason why is that if a guy at 19 years old has his whole life completely changed, turned upside down, and there's no way on this planet that he can have any other way, if you would. For the first time in the hospital after 3 days, he looks at himself and he's pissed, he's depressed, he's hurt, he's angry. But now he's walking the stage and in front of 4,000, 4,500 people and inspiring them. The reason why this is so important, this is so awesome to share, is that it's the attitude. It's the attitude, it's the attitude, and it's the attitude. And it's the attitude. And it's the attitude. And it's the attitude. How do you deal with crap like that? This is how. You turn it around and you absolutely make it into a blessing. Not just a regular blessing, but a huge blessing. Not only that, but that story, okay, that extreme change of direction of life for JR, that led him to this point. Even though he was pissed, mad, angry, hurt, depressed, anxious, all that stuff, now he's walking the stage, making the money, having the family, enjoying life, and not letting his external scars, extreme external scars, get in his way. So many of us let little things get in our way, and it slows us down. Some of us stops us. I'm here to share with you this. Look, you never know how life inserts itself into your life. You know what I mean? You never know how and when inserts itself into your equation. You never know that. But it does. And I love J.R. Martinez's attitude because here's the thing. It's one thing to be going through stuff, right? It's one thing to have a hard life, hard time, just going through stuff. That's one thing. I get it. You know, you have stuff on your plate and it's hard and all. I get that. Come on. I'm no stranger to that, okay? But here's what I gotta tell you. Those are internal scars. Those are internal situations. Let me ask you this. If you were in a situation where JR is, burnt, having extreme external scars all over his face and scalp and ears and everywhere, if you were that person, okay, because it's okay to have crap on your plate and it's okay to have stuff going on, all that stuff is okay, and you handle it, right, somehow, but they're all internal, right? When you have this extreme external scars all over you, and every time you go in the mirror, every time you look at yourself, every time you go take a shower, you see your body, you're reminded of that 19-year-old who had this whole thing planned out, right? If you don't know who J.R. Martinez is, I highly recommend you take a look at him and follow him. What I gotta share with you is this. A lot of us, most of us, don't have external scars. Most of us don't have a lot of scars. Most of us are wounded, are hurt, maybe angry, maybe pissed off, anxious, all that stuff. Yeah, I get that, all that stuff. But those are not external scars that you can visually see, right? Wherever you go, people see. And the first thing they see is your external scar, extreme external scars. And you know people can be cruel and judgmental, and they immediately form their judgment about the person. Now, this is a person that had to deal with this from 19 all the way to today, and then some, right? And yet he's turned that into a blessing. Speaking in front of a crowd, motivating, inspiring. What I want to share with you is this. Your story needs to be shared. Your wounds need to be shared. They don't do well when they're on the shelf. See, it's like that product that you buy. You buy this weight loss thing, and then, or whatever you buy. Let's say you buy this weight loss thing and you put it on the shelf and you look at it every day, 3 times a day. You kind of stare at it, look at it for 3 times a day. And you're consistent. You do that every day for 30 days. You look at it. Now, let me ask you this. How much effect is that going to have on your weight? Are you going to lose any weight? By staring at it? I'm going to probably guess no. Unless you don't pick it up, open it, read the instructions, and actually use the products on a consistent everyday basis, then it's going to work. Then it's going to have an impact. Then it's actually going to do what it needs to do. Your stories are the same way. Your stories will look great on the shelf, but they do no good to no one when they're sitting on the shelf. I've said this many times before. Stories are there to be shared. Stories are there to be shared, not stored. You don't store your story. That's the whole ticket. You see, you don't put it on the shelf and stare at it. What good does that do? That does nobody any good. Not even you. See, when you have these wounds, when you have these scars, and you have been able to overcome them and come through them and beat the heck out of them, you don't just sit there on the couch and watch TV anymore. You gotta share these stories. There are people out there that wanna hear these things. I wanted to hear this thing today. And I'm telling you, you think your story is crap? There is somebody out there waiting to hear that story. 4,500 people standing up, clapping, screaming at the top of their lungs for this guy. Not because of his freaking scars, but because of his heart, because of what he's gone through, because of the way he dealt with his cards, the way he played his cards, the crappy cards that he was given at 19. He didn't fold up and put this story on a shelf and go to decorate it and tell everybody, oh, well, you know, I'm burnt, so I can't do anything anymore. And that's how extreme it is. Like, this guy is, when you see him, he's burnt. Right? And yet, so many of us don't have 1/10 of those scars, internal or external. And what we do? Throw in the pen, sit on the couch, kick it, and come up with a gazillion excuses that, well, you know, yeah. I think that's embarrassing. When you have somebody like J.R. Martinez walking around doing his thing, and me sitting here with my 2-3 lame excuses, I think that's pretty freaking embarrassing. It's actually pretty embarrassed. I want to give you this thought. Share your stories. Now, there is a second part to this. See, it's no good to come out there and say, well, you know, I was 19, I went into the Army. 3 weeks after, my car went over a bomb, I got stuck in the car, I got burnt. That can't be the end of the story. That's no good. Nobody wants to hear that story. That's a crappy story. See, people love to hear the struggle. People would love to hear the speed bumps, the red flags, the walls that came up, all the stuff that you had to deal with. That stuff is great. But they want to hear you be a victor over all of that. See, a story, you always, look, if you're going through crap and you stay in that crap, nobody wants to hear that story, because now you're complaining and blaming. So you haven't gone out of the crap. You're just sitting there and blaming and complaining and staring at it and just kind of magnifying it. But when you have this crap of stuff and you get over it and you deal with it and you crush it and you triumph and you stand up tall and then you did something amazing with the crappy cards that you got dealt, now that's a story. That's a story that people want to hear. And if you shelf that story and put it up, shame on you. Why would you do that? There are many people who want to hear that. They want to hear how you overcame the crappiest cards you got. That's the ticket. If you just are telling that tale of the story, how bad things are in your life, that's called complaining and blaming. There's got to be a second part to this. And that second part is you winning, overcoming it. I'm a cancer survivor, okay? That's a good story. When I tell people that, people say, oh my God, that's amazing. That's a good story, because I beat it. I dealt with those cards that I had. Now I can tell that story. So I ask you, if you're sitting in a pile of crap, please get up, shake the crap off, and do something with it. Move forward. Kick it in the butt. Triumph. Be a victor over all that crap. And then I guarantee you, people would love to hear your story. Not only would love to hear them, but there's going to be a person out there in the audience, out there wherever you're speaking, that is going to take your story and is going to run with it. And that makes it all worth it. I pray that you don't fold so quick. I pray that you stick around in the game. I pray that you play the freaking game to the end. And you put your thinking cap on and you play the best hand with the crappiest cards. I hope you got some love, some inspiration, some value out of this. I appreciate you guys. I want to know what you think. Always, I want to know what your feedback is. Hey, listen, you may be going through crap. You may think all the stuff I'm saying is crap. That's okay. Let me know. Drop it in the comments below. Let the feed grow. I appreciate it. Hate, love, whatever it is, I dig it. Right? But what I gotta tell you is, we all have had bad, crappy hands. I want to know how you dealt with one of them. Drop your thoughts below. Drop your feedback below if you would. I appreciate you guys. If you got some love, some inspiration, some value, you feel like this is good stuff, I gotta share this, man. Tag a couple people to this, share it on your wall, do what you gotta do, spread the love. I appreciate you guys. It's good to be back home. To all of you guys that I met you in person today and this weekend, I am so happy, so thankful that I got a chance to meet everybody, take a gazillion pictures and talk to everybody and meet and greet and all that stuff. So I really appreciate that. And yeah, if you feel like you got some love, tag a couple people, share it on your wall, do what you gotta do, spread the love, drop your feedback below, let the feed grow, and I appreciate you guys. And remember, if you share, you show that you care. Until tomorrow, where we do it all over again. Much love.